person on here who is completely mind-numb to the truth and only following talking points. And now Pag's parody. KJP, Karine Jean-Pierre, passes wind through her teeth, I think. Can't tell the truth if she had to. Let's go. She passes wind through her teeth. Bring it, son. Lies to your face and to me. You know what I'm saying? She says Biden has done great because of the tools and the work. Lots of tools, a lot of work in that toolbox. She's not that smart, but thinks we are jerks. You're welcome. I see the X in her face. We do, she starts to talk. And look at his eyes. Just looks at the clock. Just a fool to believe she says anything that's real. Gives us the spin. That's what she does. Let's go. You know you want to turn it up. You know you're chair dancing. Carrie, you chair dancing? I guess not. She looks in the mirror, thinks she's cute. She does. She's over her head, or just rude. She thinks she's fooling us all. She thinks we're dumb. She looks right in our faces, says he's not above. Give me the bridge. Says he's got energy. She can't keep up with him. Thinks that we'll buy. He's full of vigor and vim. She's a fool to believe we buy anything she says. She'd only spend. Pag's parody. She likes to spin about our girl KJP. All right, quick break here. When we come back, it'll be Kevin Hearn. He is a District 1 Republican, great state of Oklahoma. Going to talk about the incursion of the CCP. Going to talk about HR 2 and a whole lot more. You don't want to miss this interview. Lots of great information. Keep it right here on the Joe Pag Show.
Don't be an A-dub. Stay with the Joe Pag Show.
Kroger always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower-than-low prices. And when you download the Kroger app, you can enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply.
And now, shop what you love and save $2 on each participating item when you buy 3 or more with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
My name is Twyla Norman. I've been here at BCRTA for 2 years as a vehicle operator.
As an operator, Twyla enjoys her independence and the chance to work with great people every day in her community.
I love the growth. I love the people. I love the benefits. It's just my dream job.
It could be your dream job, too. Apply now at butlercountyrta.com/careers.
Waiting on a tax return? Hopefully it ends up in your hands. Fraudulent tax returns due to identity theft increased by 30% in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Our U.S.-based restoration specialists are experts dedicated to helping solve your identity theft issues. And all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. So we'll reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Help protect your information this tax season with LifeLock. Save up to 25% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com.
Cervical cancer screenings, like a PAP or HPV test, can help prevent cervical cancer. Get started or get back on track with your cervical cancer screenings. Visit cdc.gov and check out the Inside Knowledge campaign to learn more about different screening options.
This segment is sponsored by Novo Nordisk. Did you know excess weight can lead to heart disease? In fact, people living with obesity have an increased risk of developing heart disease, which can lead to heart attack or stroke. But losing as little as 5% of your body weight can improve certain heart disease risk factors, including high cholesterol and high blood pressure. Talk to a healthcare provider about weight management. Go to truthaboutweight.com to learn more.
Something big is here. Something so big it couldn't fit in a can.
Introducing Bubbly Burst, a sparkling water beverage bursting with so much fruit flavor, we had to put it in a bottle. With 6 sipsational flavors and no added sugar, the newest member of the Bubbly fam is worth smiling about. So look for the colorful Bubbly Burst bottles and add a burst of fruit flavor to your day.
Oh, Bubbly Burst, coming to a fridge near you.
Next.
Hey, it smells so good in here.
Yep, that'd be the coffee.
I know. It's just I've had nasal polyps for so long. Now I'm on this medicine and my congestion and breathing are much better.
Dupixent, dupilumab, is an add-on prescription maintenance treatment for adults with uncontrolled chronic rhinosinusitis with nasal polyposis that can help shrink your nasal polyps so you can breathe better with less congestion.
I'm pretty jazzed about it. Plus, I don't want another surgery, and now I might not need one.
So, what can I get you?
Oh, medium coffee, please.
Dupixent can cause allergic reactions that can be severe. Get help right away if you have wheezing or trouble breathing or swelling of your face, lips, mouth, tongue, or throat. Tell your doctor right away about signs of inflamed blood vessels like rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems like eye pain or vision changes, joint aches and pain, if you have a parasitic infection, or asthma. Don't change or stop steroid or asthma medicines without talking to your doctor.
Do more with less nasal polyps. Ask your doctor about Dupixent.
Learn more at Dupixent.com or call 1-844-DUPIXENT.
As the NFL drafts its next class of players, the Big Sisters of Butler County drafts its new class of mentors. In Butler County, there are over 150 kids waiting to be matched with a big brother or big sisters. Visit bbbs.org for more information and sign up today. When you play a little, they win big.
The world is rushing to renewable energy. But why so fast? What will be the unintended consequences of abandoning fossil fuel-based power before we're ready? How will our quality of life be impacted? We are racing down this road, but a new narrative is evolving. Not so fast. Learn how coal contributes to our quality of life at thecoalhardtruth.com.
Eaton presents Tales from the Next Frontier. It's a normal day at work for the IT pro until...
Temperatures in the server room are rising fast.
Your systems are no match for my heat ray.
Doctor downtime?
Indeed. And now you'll never get back up and running.
Oh, you think so?
Will our IT hero prevail against Dr. Downtime? Find out at eaton.com/hero.
Great to have you along for the ride. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Glad to have this man on. He is District 1 Republican, the great state of Oklahoma. It is Representative Kevin Hern. Kevin, how are you? Good to see you.
Joe, it's good to be with you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. I want to get into the Chinese Communist Party in a minute because they're taking over, I believe, just about everything they possibly can from our country. We've got to put the brakes on that. But let's start with this ridiculous budget that just went through. I'm confused. You know, my representative is Chip Roy. He's an big spending guy, yet he's confused. I keep on hearing about the power of the purse and the purse strings and the power of the purse, yet for some reason the House doesn't dig in and utilize that. Why is that, do you think?
Well, certainly, Chip's a dear friend of mine, and he and I, very conservative, and, he has been very vocal in this. I chair the Republican Study Committee. We've talked about this. We put out a budget that's totally fiscally responsible, balances, and, here we are spending money that we don't have, $35 trillion in debt now. The American people are scratching their heads, and we continue to do this. And, as Republicans, we've got to do better. If we can't control the spending as Republicans, we certainly are not going to get the Democrats to do it, and that's why we have debt where we're at. Nobody wants to be accountable.
But listen, I don't want to drag Mike Johnson through the mud, so let's start with Kevin McCarthy. McCarthy decides, let's go on our recess, and recess isn't you guys going on vacation necessarily. You go back to your district. Your job is in the district, and I think you should do that more often. But he decides to go and not do anything budgetarily, and then Chuck Schumer takes the opportunity to pass some CR or something. The Senate should never start a budget conversation. It should always start where the money is. You guys control the money. Do you think that was a misstep like I think it was, that Kevin McCarthy didn't say, all right, Chuck, here's our budget. Have a nice day. We're going to go on recess. I feel like he could have done that.
You're right. In fact, we had those conversations last year, the $1.471 trillion. I put out a letter saying we need to call the question on the vote. It passed. Then we had 4-vote majority, or 4-vote margin, if you will, on the Republican side. We passed it with every single Republican voting for the $1,471 billion. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But we passed it, and the only 4 that voted against it were Republicans on the Republican side, but they wanted even less spending. So essentially, we, in the tightest margins in U.S. history at the time, we got spending cuts. Well, then what happened was you should just walk away. Like you said, send it to the Senate, go get it done. Instead, we negotiated against ourselves and came back out with $170 billion more in spending. And none of us could figure that out all year long. And then we get and find that there's $70 billion in side deals and things like that, the things that just hurt the American people.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. By the way, it's District 1 Republican, great state of Oklahoma. It's Kevin Hern. I appreciate you coming on. What blows my mind as well is that Kevin McCarthy also got rolled by Joe Biden when it came to the debt ceiling. I'm confused by why somebody isn't digging in. If you shut down the government, whatever, shut it down for a little while, everybody gets paid retroactively anyway, and really dig your heels in. Are we ever going to see that happen? I mean, the majority is slimming now for the Republicans in the House. I don't feel like it's ever going to happen.
Well, the thing it's always been for the Republicans, we're always fearful. And if you talk to people around a long time, say, well, shutting down the government doesn't work. And Republicans always get blamed. That's because we allow ourselves to get blamed, in my opinion, and Chip Roy's and many others. Put our budget out there, put our appropriation bills out there. We want to pass them, send them to the Senate, and then go home. Like you said, let Chuck Schumer and the Democrats stew on that for a little bit, and then let the American people see who's actually shutting it down. If the Republican House is not in D.C. and we have sent the bill to the Senate, it would be the Senate shutting it down, the Democrat Senate, not the Republican House.
I think you nailed it. It's Representative Kevin Hern. And Kevin, I want to go from that to H.R. 2. H.R. 2 was passed a year ago now by you and others in the House of Representatives, and it sits on Chuck Schumer's desk. Yet for some reason, the Democrats and KJP and Joe Biden and the media can all pretend that you guys in the House are stopping any sort of border reform when in fact you guys put something out a year ago. But how can we make the messaging better from the Republican side? Because most Americans just now, for the first time ever, heard me even talk about H.R. 2, which would fix the border by basically putting Trump's policies into law.
Well, Joe, it's going to take people like yourself to have big microphones to continue pushing the message, because we've been talking about this. To your point, we passed H.R. 2. We know that the border's been broken for years. It was broken under Pelosi, and President Trump had to do executive actions. Right. There's no question things had to be fixed. We pushed H.R. 2 out last year, fully Republican, pushed it to the Senate, and nothing has been done since May of last year on that. So for KJP and the president to say that Congress hasn't done anything is just an absolute falsehood. They should say that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have done nothing in the Senate. I've been to the border multiple times. It is a travesty. We see it on TV. Joe Biden goes to the border in a safe neighborhood where there's nobody crossing. If you all remember, Kamala Harris was the border czar, did absolutely nothing but entice more people to come across the southern border. And now that it's an election time, they're all of a sudden getting religion on trying to fix the southern border.
And the Republicans did it. You guys did it wrong. And for some reason, Representative, nobody is chiming in going, what are you talking about? Chuck Schumer has sat on legislation for a year. We could have solved this a year ago. Will anybody get the message out? I know I've got a big microphone. Cool. So do other people. But I think at some point we have to step up, maybe in these press briefings. Maybe Ducey can do it. Hey, wait a second. H.R. 2 sitting there. Somebody needs to put this out in the fray, because the left has done a really good job saying Hern hasn't done anything to fix the border.
Well, to your point, that was part of our negotiation on the appropriation bills. Put H.R. 2 on there, send it to Chuck Schumer, and go home, saying, do you care more about our Ukrainian spending? That's really where the big argument's been right now, is put the southern border on there. Do you not care more about our southern border than you do funding somebody else's border around the world? Right. Clearly, the Democrats care more about what's happening in Ukraine than they do what's happening in Arizona or New Mexico or Texas.
He is the chairman of the study committee. Can you just give us a primer? What exactly is the study committee?
Well, it's known. It's been around 50 years now. It's the Republicans' conservative conscience of the conference. Been around. Started back when when President Nixon went to the left. There's a lot of staffers started that, set it alongside the Heritage Foundation outside of Capitol Hill. And it's about policy only, not about the politics per se, but about good policy, good sound budgets that balance talking about good policy on the southern border, good energy policy. And we've had really high-profile speakers come to people that are experts in their field, subject matter experts, people like General Jack Keane and others that have come in and talked about what's happening in the Middle East. And that's what we're known for. And we've got 180 members of the 217 Republicans that are in the conference that come every week to listen to what we do and participate in the budget. So we know that the Republicans understand good policy, when it comes to the negotiations, we've got some opportunity there.
Representative, is there a real fear? And by the way, it's District 1 Republican from the great state of Oklahoma. It is Kevin Hern. Is there a real fear that as Republicans, these people who I guess don't take their district seriously, keep on retiring and resigning and quitting early? Is there a real fear that the gavel somehow will go to Hakeem Jeffries before November?
Oh, I think so. When you talk about the fact that we can only lose one Republican now, and see what happens if if there actually is a motion to vacate that comes forth next week on Mike Johnson, do enough Republicans that are that want to see the Democrats in control are just fed up with what they're seeing and lackluster leadership. And it may not be just what is known as moderate Republicans. It could be others that support Democrat policies as well, positions as well, to have a Hakeem Jeffries take over as Speaker. It's a time, Joe, that we've never seen in American history, ever, this tight of margin in Congress. And that just shows you how divided America is, which, quite frankly, for us, the God-fearing Americans can't understand why the Democrats want to have a wide-open border. And that wide open border right now is the center of all the conversations right now, whether it's spending or whether it's, supplemental aid to Israel or Ukraine or Taiwan or even funding our military. We are under attack right now at our southern border, and this administration wants to do absolutely nothing about it. As you mentioned, the House Republicans passed a bill over a year ago recognizing that. And we have been to the border many, many times. If you don't see the problem, you don't understand the problem. This administration, these Democrats don't understand it, apparently.
Hearn.house.gov is the website. Go and follow Representative Kevin Hern everywhere as well. Let's get into the Chinese Communist Party. I noticed that basketball is making billions of dollars, and China basically owns all the studios in Hollywood now. They're buying land not too far from military bases. China is also indoctrinating our educational system. They're in there. They're donating a bunch of money so that they can make sure that how they feel about global issues is how our young people feel about global issues. China is incurring on just about everything that we do in the United States, and people don't seem to be taking it seriously. But you are, right?
Well, I pushed out a combating China, communist China bill about 2 weeks ago now, and it's a comprehensive bill. It's about 370 pages long. That looks at all the aspects of the things you just mentioned, as well as the ownership of TikTok by ByteDance, a Chinese Communist Party controlled company. And, if you think about it, Joe, if your two companies are warring with each other, or two countries in this case, are warring with each other, and you're trying to find information on the other, and you're in second place, wouldn't you love to have a data gathering machine like TikTok that's sitting there, 175 million Americans participating throughout the day, and then take that data back and formulate a structure, interfere with our elections? That's the core of democracy, the core of freedom of the United States of America. It's what our soldiers go fight for around the world, is the freedom to vote. And if you can disrupt that with, fraudulent elections because you manipulate the minds of those who are out there voting, that's what the Chinese government's trying to do with TikTok. And to make no bones about it, if it wasn't a big deal, they wouldn't be fighting so hard to keep the ownership owned by ByteDance. And so we're going to push back. We're going to keep pushing. Ways and Means Committee I sit on, it came out, when you look at all the things that happen out there, to find these partisan issues and make them bipartisan, you look at energy and commerce, this TikTok bill came out 50-0, meaning Democrats supported right alongside Republicans to end that relationship of ByteDance owning TikTok.
But what bothers me, though, Kevin, and this really does bother me to my core, is that Trump was close to having them divest. He was close to making this happen, close to making sure that it was not somebody who owned it in China. For those who don't understand, if you've got a company in China and you base it in China, that government has, by law, the right to get every bit of data and do anything they want with that data. So when this was about to happen with Trump, the Democrats were not on the side of getting rid of it. Had they been, it probably would have gotten done. It would have been divested. TikTok could still exist. It just wouldn't be owned there. Why the change now?
Years ago, it was taken through the court system. The party as the commander-in-chief to do that unilaterally, which is why it came through Congress. And it wasn't easy, by the way. But when everything exposed to the various classified briefings, the briefings that were given forth, because as you know, this has been going on for a while. Again, 50-0. In this day and age, when everything is so split, to have that kind of a bipartisan support to separate that ownership just tells you how dangerous TikTok is and what China's trying to do to infiltrate, and get data on American people and what we do in our everyday walks of life, whether it's through EVs, which are probably the biggest data gathering device that could ever been invented, going around the country, whether it's the cranes in the ports that have been found to have cellular data gathering devices on them, whether it's having people cross the southern border from China, halfway around the world, coming through the southern border, being reported, and whether it's using TikTok to be able to coordinate pickups of illegal Chinese aliens coming across the southern border, as reported by the Customs and Border Protection agents directly to me. So I have no qualms. There's nothing anybody's going to do to convince me that we shouldn't make those guys the best of TikTok in the United States, because it is dangerous for us and the sovereignty of our nation.
And I think people just have to realize that that's what China does. If it, again, is based in China, they have every right to go in and get all the data. It's Kevin Hurd. He's their U.S. Representative, District 1 Republican, great state of Oklahoma. We've talked a lot about the border. I'm not far from the border. I'm in the San Antonio area. And as we watch what's going on at the border, there are a bunch of lies that are happening that somehow Trump broke it. This is the Republicans' fault and all that. But let's get into the reality of it. The reality is you've probably got 10 to 15 million illegal aliens here now. I interviewed President Trump a couple of weeks ago. He says, yes, we can start getting rid of them. What mechanism do you see Congress can put in place, or maybe another president could put in place, to get rid of those who have come here illegally and make them do it legally?
Well, certainly right now we know that we've got to find why they're coming here, and we know why they're coming here because the border's wide open. But if you look at what President Trump did, they remain in Mexico. I've had Chad Wolf, Kevin McAleenan, just so many different people. Tom Holman just 2 weeks ago at the Republican luncheon. Remain in Mexico alone will stop 75% of the border crossings. That alone. And when you hear, what President Trump told AMLO, the president of Mexico, when he said he needed $10 billion, basically a ransom, holding us hostage on stopping people from coming through Mexico, and $20 billion if we want to stop it from coming from Haiti. I mean, this tells you what we're dealing with on the southern border with Mexico. They are complicit in what's happening, the millions of people crossing the southern border, up to 10 million since Joe Biden's been in office. We've got a neighbor on the south side of our border that is the problem, that's letting these folks come through. And we've got to do what President Trump said. He said, I will cut off aid, I will cut off any help and assistance we can give Mexico and what they're doing. And President Biden's doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I mean, quite literally, there were demands that were made, and you're right, $20 billion, and you can't let any of them who are already in America come back. In fact, you should get them on a path to citizenship. And this president of Mexico thought that he had a leg to stand on. And you're right, what Trump would do, he would say, how much do we send you? Well, just stop that. Oh, how much do we tariff you and tax you? We'll tax all your goods. I mean, he played the game like a businessman. Why do you think Biden isn't doing that? Why do you think he wants these people here? Is it as simple as he thinks they'll vote for him or his side?
Well, that's really the $64,000 question, because what's interesting is the more people he lets across illegally and doing it the wrong way, the more the people that came here the right way are supporting President Trump, that are, can't stand what's going on. I talk to immigrants all the time. They say, I can't believe what's happened. These are Democrats that are telling us that, saying that I came here, I waited 10 years, I waited 12 years. It was worth the wait to become a free American. And yet this president is allowing people to walk across, or giving them their airplane ticket and fly them directly to New York, giving them checks each week, giving them a place to live. Either they're envious or mad. I don't know which it is, but it seems like right now they're very angry. And when we look at the polling numbers, more and more, Hispanics are supporting President Trump.
It is Representative Kevin Hurd from Oklahoma. One last question. What are the chances of your bill, the Countering Communist China Act, will be passed by the House? It hasn't been brought up for a vote yet, right?
It has not, but what's underlying to all of that is, things like you mentioned the border. It's, until the border crossings are curtailed by 98%, it's going and sanctioning individual Chinese business people and also their companies. It's going after the issues with cranes and ports. It's looking at, putting curtailments on trade. It's looking at removing the permanent normal trade relationships with China and resetting tariffs like President Trump did. Most people don't know this with China, that the one thing that Joe Biden did not do is undo what President Trump did against China. He knew Biden did. He was smart in that area, that he knew that President Trump was the first president in U.S. history in the relationship with China that had the courage to stand up against China. And Joe Biden, either they don't know what to do differently or just say this is, is about as good as it's going to get. And we've got to keep supporting President Trump in his re-election process here, because he's the only person that's going to have the courage to stand up to some of these nations. That's why you're seeing wars all over the world. There's no fear anymore of the United States.
Yeah. Chairman of the Republican Study Committee, it's hearn.house.gov. Representative Kevin Hearn, District 1 Republican. Great state of Oklahoma. Nice to meet you. I'm glad you came on today. Let's do this again soon, okay?
Sounds great. Thanks, Max. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. All right. We're back after this. Stay right here.
This is the Joe Pags Show.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-721-3955. 800-721-3955. 800-721-3955.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Looking for a career with staying power? Find it at Butler County Regional Transit Authority.
My name is Luke Morgan, and I'm the Director of Operations. We are always going to have a need for public transit. The business that we're in is very community-oriented. We take people to work, we take people to the doctor, and those are all critical functions of society.
Uncover a career with purpose at butlercountyrta.com/careers.
Kroger always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower than low prices. And when you download the Kroger app, you can enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've locked in low prices to help you save big store-wide. Look for the locked in low prices tags and enjoy extra savings throughout the store. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel, or peeks down at it for a glance, or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Smushy butt, mushy cushy tushy butt, roly butt, eat your mustache-oli butt. No matter what kind of butt you got, Huggies has curves to keep it comfy. We got you, baby, with Huggies Little Movers, our best fitting diaper.
When you visit a state as big and diverse as Texas, there are a million different trips you can take. Let's say you've got an appetite for whitewater kayaking. You can get your own.
So this is why they call it Devil's River.
trip to Texas. Or maybe you have an actual appetite. I'll take a pound of brisket, 6 ribs, 3 links of sausage, and a piece of pecan pie. Trip to Texas. Go to TravelTexas.com/get your own for the only trip to Texas that matters. Yours.
Great to have you. Thanks. We appreciate the representative coming on. Make sure that anytime you hear somebody talk about how the Republicans in the House won't do anything about the border, remind that person the Republicans did H.R. 2 a year ago, and the Democrats in the Senate, Chuck Schumer specifically, are sitting on it, not doing anything about it. So make sure that you bring that up. H.R. 2 is the House resolution. Make sure you go to joepags.com. You can go to linktree.com/joepags. See all my links there as well, including the link to the General Flynn movie. That is Polo. That is Sam. That is Carrie. I'm Joe. We're back tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have an incredible night. Bye.
This is the Joe Pags Show.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-721-3955. 800-721-3955. 800-721-3955.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete
Less than 10% of kids in America get enough fiber, but my kids do. Because Metamucil! Delicious Metamucil Kids Fiber Gummies help boost fiber intake with 5 grams of plant-based fiber per serving. Metamucil! That's as much as 2 cups of broccoli, and they have no added sugar. I want Metamucil! Metamucil Kids Fiber Gummies. Here you go, honey. Yay! Use as directed. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Get set to save. Target Circle Week starts Sunday with thousands of deals for Target Circle members. And now get deals automatically, so they're impossible to miss. Not a Target Circle member? Not a problem. It's easy and free to join at Target.com.
Adventure runs free in Clarksville, Tennessee. Feel the rush as you paddle through the pristine waters, climb riverside bluffs, or journey the underworld through a cave. After an adrenaline-filled day, treat yourself to a scrumptious meal and handcraft spirits or a summer concert on the lawn. Bring the whole family, escape with a loved one, or venture solo and create memories that will last a lifetime. Discover more at visitclarksvilletn.com.
The Big B Coffee West Michigan Studios.
WOOD Grand Rapids and WOOD FM Muskegon.
News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
An iHeartRadio station.
The quake was deadly. I'm Carmen Roberts, Fox News. At least 4 people died in the massive 7.4 earthquake that struck Taiwan Wednesday morning.
Also reports of multiple aftershocks hitting Taiwan, including a magnitude 6.4 aftershock, extremely powerful aftershock. There was also strong shaking in the capital of Taipei.
Fox's Bill Malusian. The quake was the strongest in nearly 25 years to hit the island, damaging buildings and leaving a 5-story building in Hualien leaning at a 45-degree angle. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said on social media that his country stands ready to provide any assistance necessary to help its neighbor across the sea. An EF1 tornado struck south of Louisville, Kentucky Tuesday, ripping off roofs and heavily damaging some homes. Meteorologist John Gordon with the National Weather Service says the tornado's path of destruction was spotty, covering about a mile.
It did skip down there on Han Ridge Road. This is very typical. A lot of roof damage, a lot of tree damage, twisting and turning of the debris.
Governor Andy Beshear declaring a state of emergency.